You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned.
The Baltimore and Maryland Amazon Workers for Justice, and also United Seniors and the Matthew Henson Community Association, and many others.
How y'all doing?
Demanding justice for George Floyd, for Breonna Taylor, for everybody killed, murdered by racist police.
Good evening, comrades. Good evening. Welcome to the People's Power Hour, sponsored by the People's Power Assembly, and the Prisoners Solidarity Committee. You can follow us on Facebook, People's Power Assembly, or sign up on our webpage, peoplespowerassembly.org. It is important to talk, but it's more important to act. We are here this evening to talk about not only the tragic death of Tyre Nichols, but also your brother, Tyrone West, and all of the other people who have been murdered, because that's what it is. It's a murder by the police all over the nation. So we're going to start with you, Tawanda. Just tell everybody who you are and why it was important for you to be on the show today. Go ahead.
Yes, first of all, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Yes, and it was great seeing you this weekend. But I am the sister of Tyrone West. My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013. I'm talking about beat to death for no reason, literally in Baltimore City by 17 police officers and one Morgan State University officer. And ever since then, for now, going on 497 weeks nonstop, me, my family, my coalition have been fighting, not just for accountability for my brother Tyrone West, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Now, we understand, you're in the fight, but you're not only in the fight for your brother, you're in the fight for the young man. You came out this weekend and spoke very eloquently. You're in the fight for the young man who was killed in early January. And, we all expressed our condolences to his mom and his dad. But tell me, how you felt when you heard that. Did it bring back memories for, as it relates to what happened to your brother?
Yeah, so once I heard about what happened to Tyre Nichols, it broke my heart in many ways. It was almost to the point of opening up my brother's casket all over again.
I can imagine.
So when you see these horrible fatalities that are brought upon our young men, women, and children, it's sad, it's devastating, and it takes you back down a dark, gloomy path. And especially since, everything is eerily similar. Both were young black men that wasn't doing anything wrong, that had a family, that was fathers, and at the time my brother, he was only 44, but something that's supposed to be a traffic stop should not lead to someone's life stopping at all, period.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. Now, this morning, I saw Armstrong Williams on Fox 45.
Oh my God, you and me both.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, and I'm going to get Yeah, you can make comments and then I'll go to Doc and then Miss Van, but we're gonna get Mr. Andre in here also. But what really, it absolutely enraged me, and I wanted
God.
Huber Memorial to cancel that town hall.
Oh my
He
God.
said,
Oh, we on the same page because first thing I saw was them showing, the rally in which we all was a part. And then they showed, they talk a little bit about my brother Tyrone West being killed.
they did,
And they said
yeah,
the sister of Tawanda Jones. But then they let him come on there with his foolishness. And for
absolutely,
him
and
to
that's
literally
exactly what
say,
it was.
like, if
It's
you're still, if
racist
you're
bullshit.
Yes,
Yes,
if you're
let me.
in 20, if you're in 2023, still talking about some people are supposed to respect the police and this, that, and the third, and oh my God, like this house Negro needs to go. And I'm so mad. Like
Oh
I
my
said,
goodness.
I was ready to go shut his town hall meeting down myself
Let me
and
tell
address
you,
the
if I
issue.
didn't have to do this show, I would be at that town hall.
Oh, if
Let
I
me
didn't have to
tell.
go pick my baby up from her cheer practice, I would have been there on his hind
Yes,
parts. Like, first of all, let's be crystal clear. That's a big insult to not just my loved one, but for Tyree's family, to all
he
the victims.
owes
It's not.
the nation
It's
an
almost
apology.
it's a big stereotype to where as though, oh, you guys got to stop breaking the law and being disrespectful. This won't happen. First of all, when these killers kill us, it ain't got nothing to do with us being disrespectful. It's not. It got something to do with them carrying out their agenda. Let's be crystal clear. July the 18th, when my brother was pulled over, he didn't even realize he was being pulled over because the killers were in an unmarked car. Ruiz and Chapman was in an unmarked car, so he didn't know who was pulling over. Once he realized it was law enforcement, he didn't try to speed up, run, and all this foolishness. And then he put his hands out the window, and the first thing he said, "Good evening, officers. What are you guys pulling me over for?"
Absolutely,
And Chapman said, "This is what we do to you, N-words." Witnesses heard him. So what the
absolutely.
hell? It got something to do with somebody being disrespectful. Freddie Gray
That's
wasn't
exactly
being
right.
disrespectful when he made eye contact. Tyree wasn't being disrespectful when he was getting beat worse than an animal. Him and my brother, and they
Calling out
beat
for
worse
his
than
mom.
Rodney King. Like I'm livid, but it's okay because the next town hall meeting I will have somebody in place to go and pick up my child or take care of my agendas, and I will be there to look this house Negro in his face and tell him he needs to be ashamed. He needs to apologize not just to my family, but all the
To the
victims'
nation.
families.
To the
Oh, the
nation.
nation.
He
That
really
was very
does.
disrespectful. But
Yeah.
that's what
Now
Fox
I
45
posted
did.
something on Facebook, but I paraphrased it. He said, "These are the consequences when you run from the
From the
police."
police.
That's what he said. So I
Yes,
said, even if we do run, we should be allowed to run and live. And I
absolutely.
am so angry with Fox 45 for like letting him do that.
But that's what they
Armstrong, he
do.
is very
You have to
disrespectful.
realize.
And I wanted people to just boycott that town
Oh,
hall.
oh
I
yeah.
really did.
But the
I
whole
really did.
thing in a nutshell is you have to realize who they think. Whenever they put certain people on, it's to push their narratives because their narratives are black people are thugs. They're squeegees. Get
He
rid of
said
these
that before.
N-words. All of that. That's what
He
it is.
said that
It's
before.
all of that. It's all of that. And
Yeah.
then for
He
him to be
called.
black and I was scared, and then he had the nerve to ask the white guy. I think his name was Tom that was doing the broadcast saying, "Because
Yeah, yeah.
you and I would never run from the police." What?
Exactly.
First of
First of
all,
all, how do you
my brother wasn't running from the police until he started getting his life beat out of him.
right,
Let's be
right,
crystal clear. Who's
right.
going to let him stay
Absolutely.
there and let somebody, they done pepper sprayed him, tased him, damn near killed him. He's half dead. It's fight or flight. I'm trying to survive this brutal account. I'm screaming, help, call the police. Like, get out of here with that nonsense.
Absolutely. I really wanted people, and I know you're anxious to jump in there, Doc. I'm gonna come to you next. But I really, really wanted Huber Memorial to say that's it. No town hall here tonight. That is just blatant disrespect to Baltimore and to everybody else in this nation. And if I'm not mistaken, he referred to the young what's the young man's name?
Tyre Nichols?
No, he was also killed. He went to get some Skittles, candy, or what?
Oh, Trayvon Martin?
Trayvon Martin. He was also killed. Armstrong called him a thug.
Oh wow! When he said, I missed that because
Yeah,
especially,
yeah.
let me tell
You know what? So like these references to, you know, using the word thug, the word, the N word, you know, at some point, you know what? It's going to make me angry again. Doc, jump in there, please. It's going to make me angry. Doc, we can't hear you. Yeah. No, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Better?
That's it. There you. I can hear you now. Go ahead. We all can hear you.
I follow directions. I'm told to mute. I mute.
Now you can unmute. Now you can unmute.
I don't want to say I'm saddened. I don't want to say I'm surprised. I'm infuriated that those were the comments that Armstrong made. And I think we need to do something a little bit more about it. I know that I hadn't seen it or heard it. I've been on about 3 radio shows today, so I'm sorry that I missed it. But, and I believe y'all to every word that you have said, that these are not only insulting words. I think these are words that require us responding in some way. And I'm hoping People's Power Assembly can organize us to, I guess, say something and do something with reference to that. I would say I'm the same thing as y'all. Had I known, I would have tried to make some attempt to get there. And you know, maybe it's been a couple of years since I've been arrested, but maybe that would have been my best way of saying how insulted I am.
Absolutely.
That he would make these comments.
Absolutely. He said that. It was serious.
This guy has a different agenda than most of us. You know, he's one of those folks, and I want y'all to hear this. I was a very close friend to his father, Herbert Williams Jr., who was the fire chief. So I knew his father very closely. Matter of fact, I brought his father into Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. But this guy has said and done some very, how would I say it? Angry and infuriating words and statements, and he feels comfortable in doing it.
Absolutely.
I think we must say and do something to let him know that we are not pleased. And I would say that I'm a close friend of PM Smith, but I want to let PM know that I'm very disappointed as well. And I don't want to say I put my friendship on this, but at least I got to send an email to PM and put in a phone call.
Please do. Please do. You know, I want to do the same, Doc. Yeah.
So that this guy who has lived a how would I call it? A sheltered life most of his life. The brothers in the hood never seen this brother.
Thank you. When have you ever come to Baltimore or anywhere else for that matter, unless you're trying to get publicity for yourself? And that's why he's coming to Huber Memorial.
That's why he's coming.
That's why he's coming today. He claims his agenda is to talk about the correlation when you have no high school diploma, no education, you know, how you know, this it's related. It's related, you know, but I don't like what he did. I don't like what he did at all. I don't like what he said. He absolutely said that. Immediately, I got on Facebook and I said, Huber Memorial needs to cancel this town hall. He absolutely said, those are the consequences when you run from the police. So if I run from the police, they're going to shoot me. They're going to kill me. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Yep. That's what he said. Miss Van, you want to jump in there? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Miss Van. Unmute. Go ahead. Hey, Mr. Andre. Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Go ahead, Miss Van.
Tawanda was trying to say something, but listening to Armstrong today,
you want to let her because she has to go. Tawanda, you want to say something So,
Yeah, I just want to say one last thing before I go, and I'm glad y'all. That's why I love y'all, because y'all keep it totally real, like
absolutely.
definitely. But the fact that Armstrong went a step further and said, "Listen, the parents need to talk to their children like as if this is our fault." Like he's blaming our pain and demise for them to get away with it. It's sickening, but he's not only did that before, he used to always talk about black men not being present in the home of their children. Well, how in the world can they be present in the home of their children if you're killing them, if you're over incarcerating them, if you're taking them out of the home? So nobody want to hear that. So I just want to let you guys know I love y'all.
Love you
Keep up
too.
the positive atmosphere. Let me know the next time when we meeting up, and we definitely Doc, and I love Doc because Doc is real. Like ever
That's
since
right.
I met Doc, he never sells his soul, and that's why I got so much respect for him.
That's
You know,
exactly
Andre,
right.
none of y'all never sell your soul, and I love it. Never sell your soul. So I love you guys, but let me know our next action because we really need to shut him down. Like literally,
Absolutely.
this is
Yep.
like no,
We're gonna work
we're
on
not
it,
accepting this.
and I'll let you know. Okay.
Thank you. Love y'all so
Absolutely. You're
much. And
welcome.
thank
You're
y'all
welcome.
again.
You're
We love
welcome.
you more. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fist up, fight back. Fist up, fight back.
Right.
Absolutely. That's it.
Amen.
Power to
Amen.
the people.
Power to the
Absolutely.
people.
Power to the people. Okay, Miss Van, talk about these. Mr. Andre, let me tell you what we're talking about because I'm going to you next. This morning, I'm watching Fox 45 and Mr. I don't, you know what? I'm going to say something. I'm going to get myself in trouble. But Armstrong Williams said, these are the consequences. Referencing Tyre Nichols, these are the consequences when you run from the police. So I said, why can't we run and still live? I posted that on my Facebook, and I wanted Huber Memorial to cancel this town hall. Now, had I not, I had this commitment, I would have been at Huber Memorial, and I probably would have got arrested because I would have shut it down. I would have shut it down. But go ahead, Miss Van, talk about that.
When I was riding down Edison today, and I looked at the billboard, and it was blinking. So I looked, and I said, "Wait a minute, what does that say?" I turned back around so that I could actually read what it says. I never knew that news station was racist as they are. And to be a part of how they allow Armstrong to get on there today, I was angry because there's no way in the world that you made that statement. You made that statement and you stood on it. You stood on that statement. You meant what you said. And he's been doing this for quite some time. You know, are you with us or you're against us? My thing is,
as I said, he's against us. He's against us. And
absolutely.
I don't like it. He is
I don't like what he said at all.
Like, what in the world is going on? He's been, so Tom Rogers kind of looked, like, why can't we run? First of all, fear makes a person run.
But we're running because that's the first thing that we know what to do.
Police, you're gonna run.
Yeah, you're gonna run.
See how? Yeah, Bill Gooden. Go ahead, Miss Van. Bill Gooden's texting me.
We run because
he said Huber. Oh my goodness. Bill, look, I should tell him what Armstrong said because Bill Gooden is at Huber Memorial. Yes. Yep. Let me know when you're done, Miss Van. We're going to go to Mr. Andre.
But we run from the police because we in fear. That's the first thing that a person would do because they fear for their lives.
Absolutely.
And even, they say retrain the police. How can you retrain them? Because if you got a gun on this hip and a taser on this hip, they so used to grabbing the gun that they don't realize the taser is on this side, but they think that we belong in a cage, in a grave, no education, so it just goes on. But to say that Armstrong really shocked me, and I can't seem to get past the words that he have said. But this is not the first incident that he have said. What would it take to bring us together? If we can get out there and march and push, then we can do this. We can't keep sitting back. We cannot keep sitting back and allow this to happen. I am so ready and so done with the accusations that people are saying, and they're making, to them it may seem as if it doesn't mean nothing, but it does. It make a whole lot of sense. Don't get out there and march when you kill somebody. Let's do it now by word of mouth, where they be running their mouth on news. If they feel comfortable with doing that on news, then why can't we boots on the ground in the street?
Absolutely. We're not afraid. We're not afraid of Armstrong Williams. Somebody saying this is good. Missed the town hall. Wow. Okay. But nobody is, I don't believe anybody in the entire nation is in agreement with Armstrong Williams. And I think he owes the entire world, I think he owes the nation an apology. And I want, Doc said he's going to write an email to PM Smith. I need his email address because I'm going to write him one also. He should have canceled it. He should have said, no, the comment that you made was inappropriate. So, Mr. Andre, did you see the segment this morning with Tom Rogers? We can't hear you.
No, I didn't see it. Okay. And as I'm listening, is Armstrong Williams appearing at
WUBO Memorial tonight, and he is going to talk about, allegedly, because I don't want to hear anything he has to say, but I'm going to listen so that if there are other inappropriate comments, we can pull his ass up. But anyway, pardon my profanity.
Well, he you know, Armstrong Williams is doing the proverbial blaming the victim.
Absolutely.
To say something like this man shouldn't have run. Well, from what I've seen, the little bit of that they showed on the news clips, he was in his car. He was brutally pulled out of the car by some police that's like looked like it was more than 3 times as big as Tyre was. They were already beating him. He managed to escape that beating, and that's why he was running. Armstrong Williams is nothing but a mouthpiece for the Republicans. You know, he's trying to put a black face on their backwardness. He's just like oh gosh, if Lee was here, Lee would know the name right away offhand. I think the black guy, Republican guy that loved Donald Trump so much, Herman Cain.
Okay, I remember.
I think that's the right name. And he just loved Donald Trump so much, and he said he wasn't going to get no vaccination. He wasn't going to wear a mask or anything, following behind Donald Trump, who had vaccinations, but people don't realize that.
Absolutely.
And then he went to this convention where everybody was, and Herman Cain was at the convention. 2 weeks later, Herman Cain was dead from COVID.
Absolutely.
And I hope that's the right name.
I think it is. His
name is Herman.
Dr. J, check that out for us. Herman Cain.
He was a black mouthpiece for the Republicans. Armstrong Williams is the same way. He has no credibility in the black community at all. I have watched Armstrong Williams over the years, always on the wrong side of anything, and taking the most backwards attitudes at all. You know, I hate to even call him a black man because he's so
He's
so damn.
He's an Oreo cookie.
Yeah,
he's an Oreo cookie, and I don't like. He really, like, that angered me. That you know, this young man is crying out for his mother. You can hear him, "Mama, mama," like the anguish. Like and we're also gonna. There is a young man, maybe a little bit older than Tyre Nichols, but in LA, he was screaming. He ran from the police also on some sort of bike. So he said, they're trying to George Floyd me. He said they're trying to George Floyd me, and they did it. They tased him, and he died. He subsequently died from repeated tasing. Are these officers going to be charged? Likely not. You know, they're saying he had mental health issues.
Without a community struggle.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, this one here, they were already tasing him. He was on the ground.
Okay.
And from some of the clips that they saw, he was on the ground, and they couldn't hold him on the ground. But one officer was right there, tasing him, constantly tasing him. I mean, is that, with those shocks of electricity, is that truly, really, absolutely necessary? And as I said, the beating of this man just was reminiscent of the beating of Rodney King, and it brought to mind the beating of Tyrone West. Tawanda was just there.
Yes.
On the show. Unfortunately, she had to leave. She's put up a valiant struggle, week after week after week after week, holding West Wednesdays, different locations around the city, to bring to light what the police, 15 police that beat her brother. There were a combination of police from Morgan State University and Baltimore City Police, and the state's attorney. I thought it was Patricia Jessamy, but someone told me it may have been Greg Bernstein. Failed to bring charges against the police that killed her brother. It's just atrocious. There's absolutely no excuse for what they did. It shows really the mentality that the police have, towards Black folks, and it's this beating, the one of Rodney King. Even though I didn't see the one of Tyrone West, I can just imagine how horrible it was. And others that have happened around the country. They're reminiscent to me, and someone may have already said this, of the way that the Dr. King and John Lewis and the civil rights marchers were attacked on Bloody Sunday, I think is the correct term that they call it, as they were marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. That was back in the 60s. Here we are, almost 60 years later. They're still beating Black folks the same way as they did in the 60s. And you ask yourself, my gosh, well, has anything changed at all?
Right.
And it's going to take a community movement. I was very glad to see the marches on television from around the country spring up, and I think that may have had a hand in the quick charges, the quick dismissal, because they certainly, as brutal as this was, it really was hard to look at. Just like when you first saw the news clip of Derek Chauvin leaning on George Floyd's neck, and George Floyd saying, what, calling for help. And it's really is quite unbelievable what they were doing, but they have gotten away with it time after time after time again. And it's just as in George Floyd, it's going to take the people's fight back, the people taken to the streets. And, I'm a peace-loving person, but I'm so sick of President Biden. Well, I hope, the protests will be peaceful.
We're gonna. Hey, Dr. Porter.
They beat that man, so we don't owe any reassurance of peace to anybody. It's
Dorothy
the righteous indignation of the community.
I agree.
Over what has been done to this man by the police, and the attitudes of the police all around the country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to read some of these comments. Then we're going to let you speak, and then Miss Van again. So, hi, Dr. Porter. Blessings on you. Dorothy O'Bannon. Hey, my friend. She said, hey, family. Okay. So Wise Metric says, I'm not going to read his first comment. I don't agree with that. But he says, and I do agree with this one, that cops are a blue line gang. They are organized crime. That's what they are. Yes, not all of them, because I do know some very, very brave and courageous female officers. I don't know any males, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I do agree with that. They are organized gangs, you know, they protect each other. And then if somebody bucks against that, you'll notice that that person will get fired. Dr. Porter says, I agree with that. So call in. We're going to hear from Doc Cheatham, 443-297-4753. But we're not only going to talk about, you know, these police killing Black people. We're going to talk about Black people killing Black people. We can't address one without addressing the other. Us killing us. Doc, go ahead. Go ahead.
Us killing us equals genocide. That was
absolutely,
absolutely came up with some years ago. Last week or last month, I had given someone the label of everyone with my skin ain't my kin, and I gave that to Antonio Hayes, our senator. But without a doubt, Armstrong, whatever that boy's name is, he gets the everyone with my skin ain't my kin. He gets that award this week because I think those comments he made were insulting, and I think the best way that we can deal with it is we have to address it. We got to get a couple people that might be able to show those comments on video on Facebook or Twitter on something, but we need more people to see it. If it wasn't for y'all, I would not have heard about it. But I want to say this. Last Friday, I put out on Facebook probably about 10 articles as to what constitutes first-degree murder. This case right now is second degree, but I think there is one officer at least that should have gotten the charge of first degree. And what makes the difference in first degree and second degree are basically two real elements. The most important is premeditation. And what I tried to share with us on Saturday was if you listen to the beginning of the tape of the killing of Mr. Nichols, you will hear one of the officers saying very clearly, we need to stop him. We need to take him. We need to hit him. And this is before they caught up with him. This is what comments as they were going. One of the other things that's mentioned in first degree is gang related. Yes, I think this could be considered a gang related incident.
Yes.
Tragedy. But I think most important, one of the officers, we need to find out who he was. And I think we need to demand either of Sharpton or the lead attorney that we need to request them to have him charged with first degree murder because of the clear indication of premeditation.
Absolutely. They thought about it. I want to read this comment from, Dorothy O'Bannon. My friend is asking, okay, I'm going to read Raymond Bly's comment and then we'll tell you, Dorothy O'Bannon says they're the biggest gang in America. But Mr. Raymond Bly posted this very interesting comment. He says, I'm a very old white man and the Howard County Police beat me October 1st, 2015. He has it on tape and nobody cares because I'm white and the cops are white. Well, Mr. Bly, I want to let you know that we care. The People's Power Assembly, and I'm sure there are a ton of folk who do care. So absolutely put some additional comments up there, Mr. Bly. What happened? What happened after they beat you? Did you make noise? You have to absolutely get out there and say, hey, this is wrong. And I'm sure you're Caucasian. You can get a lot of people behind you. Tell us what's going on with that. So Ms. Dorothy O'Bannon is talking about what comment are we focusing on? We were talking about, Oreo cookie, Armstrong Williams, who said, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, I don't know if he said unfortunately, he said, these are the consequences when you run from the police. So he is sanctioning the police. If somebody runs, Armstrong Williams says kill them, because that's what I'm getting. Is that what everybody else is getting? That's what I heard. That, I mean, not literally, but that's what you're saying, Armstrong, that if we run from the 9 times out of 10, if they chase it, if they are, you think something's gonna happen, oh, folk gonna run. They gonna run. That's just what they do. And I think if you have it in your mind that they are going to hurt you, which that is the culture, especially in Baltimore City. You know, these guys know, and let me tell you, every time I drive by and I see one of my young, it could be my nephew, it could be my son, it could very well be a family member, you know, I stop. Are you okay, young man? Do you need me to call anybody? And they, oh, get away from here. You know, we got this. No, I'm not going to take that. So I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to park and I'm going to make sure this young man is okay, because that is the culture of the Baltimore City Police. And I'm just, I have to say it like, you know, that's just what I'm going to say. It is absolutely.
Blurt in real quick here, because I'm so old, I might forget what I just thought of.
Go ahead.
The greatest runner in the history of Black people, Jesse Owens might be the second, but the greatest runner in the history of the world was a lady who said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if they had known they were slaves. Yes, Harriet Tubman is the greatest runner that we ever had.
You know, I say that all the time. I say sometimes I believe that people don't know that they're free. And we do have a caller. Then we're going to go back to you, Miss Van. Caller, go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, my name's Raymond Bly. What happened in October is my wife had cancer. And she came down with a minor stroke because of brain radiation. And Judge William B. Tucker of Howard County Court said, Mr. Bly, you have a 35-year-old felony. Maryland state law says you can't be around your wife or touch any of her assets. And I told him to go to hell, so he said 5 SWAT teams beat the hell out of me. There was 5 guys on my back, according to the video, and drugged my wife against her will out of the house. They put me in a mental hospital. I see cops in one way and one way only. They're 1% of society that love confrontation. They love to have power over people. They either become a gangbanger or a cop. It's the same mentality of having power over people. They love it. But it's only about 1 or 2% of our population that way, and we need to hire the gangbangers to keep the bad people under control. We hire one gangbanger to keep the other one under control.
Wow. Thank you for your comments, and Mr. Bly. And I pray that you and your wife are in a much better situation now. How's your wife doing?
They put her in a nursing home that murdered her, and I can prove it, but they won't let me have my day in court. And now it's been 6 years since she's dead.
Okay.
I've married her 48 years.
Wow. Well, blessings on you, Mr. Bly. Thank you for calling in. Okay.
So now, but don't forget us white people.
Absolutely. Oh, we're not going to forget. We know that it happens to, it happens to Caucasian people also.
The police love to beat up people. It doesn't matter really your color.
True.
They just love power over people.
Absolutely. I agree with that statement. A lot of times I'll hear young men say that every police officer that they've had a problem with, because I'll hear young men say, take that gun off and I will whoop your A, or this or that or other. And they're like, yeah, he was a punk in school. He was bullied and all that stuff. And then they get that gun on their hip and they're like, oh, I'm the baddest person around. So I do agree with that. Now, I am going to read this comment. I have to read it. So I'm not going to skip over it. Okay. You see it, Ms. Van? Okay. Mr. Eugene Bocal says, could the incident have been prevented from the victim from the very beginning with all of these question marks. Mr. Andre and then Doc, I'm going to let you respond to that. Miss Van also. Go ahead, Mr. Andre.
You know, I don't know what brought the stop about. They haven't said that. They haven't said it was clear. But absolutely, there is nothing in the world at all that this man could have done, because once those police started to hit him, they didn't just hit him. He didn't have any weapons on him. The only thing is he tried to do is not be arrested. So to ask, could the victim have been what was his question?
Prevented by the victim from the very beginning.
What is the victim to prevent, Mr. Nichols?
Eugene.
The police pulled him out of the car. I saw that. The police ran up to his car that was sitting still, opened the door, reached in, dragged him out of the car, and it wasn't like, sir, could you step out of the car? He said no. They just dragged this man's body out of the car, had him on the ground, and that's when they started to beat him. So what is he supposed to prevent from the very beginning? You know, he's in the car. They open the door. They pull him out. They proceed to beat him. He managed to wriggle and get away and escape and run because he rightfully feared for his life. How can you stand there and blame the victim for what those vicious murderers did to him?
Right. Yeah, we're not going to do that because, you know, we're just not going to do that. This was a very young man. He had a career and he deserved to live. So we're not going to do that tonight. Miss Dorothy O'Bannon says, I hope Armstrong finds himself in one of those sundown towns in his travels. Maybe he'll become a track star. You know what? Absolutely. Miss Dorothy has a point. Call in 443-297-4753. Okay, Doc, go ahead and comment.
And this is nothing. Oh, is Doc going to go ahead, Doc? You can go first.
Go ahead, Doc. He said, no, they did not just start to beat him. I watched the entire video. Okay, well, we didn't see that. Like we saw what we saw. And yeah, we're not going to do that. Okay, he has a right to his opinion and his train of thought. Doc, go ahead.
There used to be a news reporter. His name was Paul Harvey, and he would always say, and now for the rest of the story. Well, you know, information travels very fast, especially amongst our people once they hear what's going on. I would say no less than 3 hours after they showed the video on Friday, the word was out on the street here in Baltimore. And the word out on the street was one of the police officers had Mr. Nichols as a challenger for the love of his girlfriend. And the word on the street is that the officer allegedly who made the comment that they needed to stomp him, to taser him, to beat him, we think that may be the officer who actually was saying what he was going to do and did in fact do it. What we also know is that the prerequisite for stopping, it is not done by the Scorpion Group nor the Gun Trace Task Force. Stopping because of the automobile violation is not in their bailiwick. So on what purpose were they stopping? We think the purpose of their stopping was that one of the officers in the Scorpion Group wanted to get revenge on Mr. Nichols, and this was how he do it.
I heard about that too. I heard about that.
The police officer, the one that we mentioned earlier, needs to have charges of first degree against him because we think it was premeditated, and that's why he's singling him out to say he need to be beaten, he need to be tasered, he need to be hurt. We think that is the reason. So that was Paul Harvey giving you the rest of the story.
Right. And here we are. This young man is deceased. Now, Hannah Lynn Boykai says, wait, you're not, capital letters, going to talk about what could prevent a tragedy like this. How irresponsible is that? I would assume she's talking to Eugene. Because she said, wait, you're not going to talk about what could prevent a tragedy like this. How irresponsible is that? He said, y'all saw what y'all wanted to see. At the end, another Black man that could have lived if he would have just complied. We're not going to talk about compliance either, Mr. Eugene, because so many people have complied. I just don't want to go there. What if he had complied? Did you hear what Doc said? Exactly. Miss Van, go ahead. Miss Van, go ahead.
I want to be respectful because I'm sitting here and I'm trying to hold in because we are on What a Baltimore platform, okay? So let me be respectful. Eugene, okay. Come out to the People Power Assembly so we can teach you some lessons because I don't know what color you are, but no Black person in America we're going to always be a victim. It's no such thing. Do you know that police officers...
She's talking to me.
Do you know that police officers is the ones who create the killing on us? Because you know
that's his wife. And she said, I'm talking to you, the host. You said you were not going to even talk about what Tyre could have done to prevent that's not what I said. That is not what I said. I said I was not going to talk about your husband, talk to your husband about this because he like in my eyes, he's blaming the victim. And so he says if he had complied, he would be in custody, not in a casket. Not
it's
touching
it. Driving these fancy cars and they got their music up and they gonna come to them the wrong way. It's no such thing as being a victim. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
How do you comply with a
Go ahead, Mr. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Andre.
You know,
she says cite statistics if you're going to make a claim like that. I don't know what she's talking about.
Block her out.
We're not gonna worry about her anymore.
At all.
How do you comply with a gang that's beating you as you're standing against the car? Because we saw the news clips of him getting beat against the car. You're gonna stand there and comply. What was he supposed to comply with? Say, go ahead and beat me some more. Beat me all you want. Which actually they did. And it's the mentality, the gang mentality of this group that got there, and the adrenaline went up, and they proceeded to beat him and beat him and beat him, just like they beat the civil rights marchers in the 60s. Did the civil rights marchers do anything at all to make those officers beat them and sick the big fat German Shepherd police dogs on them and firemen shoot them with the water hose? No, they didn't do anything at all. Why would you even comply with somebody that's beating the hell out of you?
Is there compliance if somebody's beating the hell out of you?
What did she say? What happened in 1981? Because they claimed that he was riding intoxicated and he was speeding and wouldn't stop, and they gave them the right to beat him and kill him.
Now,
they better.
Right. And I'm going to make this comment, and then we're going to wrap up here because it's about 2 minutes of 7. Memphis was swift to prosecute these damn cops. So if they were right, and you're talking about compliance, if they were right, would they be charged? Doc, go ahead.
There's a sixth one. I heard this morning.
I heard about that today
has
too.
Been suspended, but he hadn't been charged yet.
Right. They were swift in charging them. Go ahead, Doc. Final comment.
All I'm going to say, if I don't get invited next week, I'm going to pick it because I love being on this show.
Make it hot.
Go ahead, Miss Van. Final comment.
Comment is this because I'm gonna be coordinated. I'm gonna pray that she does not have Black children or Black men in her family, and it happens to them because she's gonna be over here calling us, and we're gonna be boots on the ground marching for her family.
Miss Van,
you have right. We on What Up Baltimore and Doc the J platform. Come on and welcome aboard. Bring her on the show. Good night.
Wait a minute. Wow. So we are angry about this. He says he's sorry, about the black men that are dead, Baltimore City this year so far. Y'all mad about that? Yes, we are very angry about that, and we talked about that. Mr. Andre, go ahead. And Dr. Porter says she's praying. Raymond Blah said, I love this show. Colin says, I got some tea. Tyre was having an affair with a cop's wife. Wow. We don't know that to be true. His name is Kane Cordova.
That's the word on the street.
That's the word on the street, Doc.
And that's
wow.
Still wouldn't entitle him to be killed and to be beat like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what? Whoever it was, they were probably okay, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm not going, you don't even know who you're talking to, ma'am. My husband did lose his son to violence at the hands of another black man in the city. And I didn't see a single one of you there outraged and marching. So spare me. Ma'am, we're ending the show. Miss Van, go ahead. We certainly offer our condolences. I know, Eugene. I've offered my condolences more than once.
Yes,
go ahead.
Eugene has came to 401 North Howard Street at 11 a.m. at 2 p.m.
I was there when he gave his testimony.
We marched for your son, Eugene's son. We did a damn good job. That's what we do. Boots on the ground. Won't you come on out instead of hide behind this camera? Y'all, good night.
Mr. Andre, everybody, any final comment?
This is, police beating up the black community is nothing new. I recall police officer Vincent Gandolfo. He had a reputation over in East Baltimore for taking the black men into an alley in East Baltimore and beating the crap out of them. Well, Vincent Gandolfo got his just desserts. He's now pushing up daisies. Unfortunately, the hero that stopped him from beating the black community showed him a little bit of people's justice, and unfortunately, that hero was the second person put to death by the state of Maryland when they reinstated the death penalty here in Maryland back in the early late 80s or early 90s. Flint Gregory Hunt was the person that gave Vincent Gandolfo his justice, because he had beat Flint Gregory Hunt too many times. So whether it's one cop or whether it's 5 cops, they continue to brutalize and abuse black men here in Baltimore and around the city. And we're just talking about the ones that are killed. Let's keep in mind those that were maimed and are now disabled because of the bullying, because you don't always die, but you may end up paralyzed, unable to walk, spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair because of what the police did to you.
Absolutely. So at 8:00, Dr. Jenkins is sponsoring a platform, and we're going to continue to talk about this crisis in Baltimore City. We've addressed it. I'm going to be back next week talking with Doc and Bill Gooden, and I'm trying to get some pastors to come on the show, because last week I asked a question on my show, Conversations with Joy B, what's the church's responsibility? But okay, we're gonna end right now. Thank everybody who listened in, who had a comment, and Dorothy O'Bannon, make sure you're on for Dr. J's show, okay? You guys listening also. Going to be talking about this crisis, and it is a crisis. We touched on that a little bit, because we are killing us. Us killing us is genocide. Just like Doc said, we'll see you in 2 weeks, People's Power Assembly, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.